The United Nations report has warned that countries are not doing enough to stop the temperature of the Earth rising to near catastrophic levels. They say the time for rapid and transformational change to limit global warming is now. Greenhouse gases reached a record high last year and show no sign of peaking, as our science correspondent Thomas Moore reports.
From the belching power stations of China to the burning forests of Brazil, more greenhouse gases than ever are being added to the air we breathe. New research by the United Nations Environment Programme shows emissions are climbing and the world is lacking the collective political will to do anything about it. Only by cutting emissions by 7% every year for the next decade does the planet stand any reasonable chance of limiting global warming to 1.5 degrees and averting a climate breakdown.
Is that possible? Absolutely. Will it take political will? Yes. Will we need to have the private sector lean in? Yes. But the science tells us that we can do this.
Greenhouse gas emissions reached a record high in 2018 of 53 billion tonnes. Even if countries come good on current pledges to reduce them, they'd only level off in 2030, pushing up the global temperature by more than 3 degrees. To prevent a climate breakdown, warming needs to be held below 1.5 degrees. That will mean more than halving emissions by 32 billion tonnes in just a decade.
The gap between what we are doing and what we need to do is growing wider. So we were already not doing enough, and the challenge is getting bigger.
L'accord de Paris pour le climat est accepté.
The G20 nations, the countries with the biggest economies, account for more than 3/4 of all emissions, but just 5, including the UK, have committed to all but eliminating greenhouse gases. China is increasing the amount of energy it gets from coal faster than the rest of the world is consigning it to history.
The horrible, costly, one-sided Paris Climate Accord.
In the United States, President Trump has signed the papers to withdraw from the World Climate Deal. And in Brazil, the government has encouraged the Amazon to be cleared to make way for economic development.
The climate emergency is here and now. So it's happening to people, it's happening to wildlife. So we're seeing impacts on people already at 1 degree. We're seeing sea levels rise. We're seeing animals having to move from their home. We're seeing habitat destruction.
At the UN Climate Summit in Madrid next week, negotiators from around the world will be under pressure to cut emissions faster. This report warns delaying action by just 1 year will make it even harder and more expensive to stabilise the planet's climate. Thomas Moore, Sky News.